Alright guys, a hearing just took place for Stephan Stearns. Let's discuss what went down. Court is finishing up in the background, but I want to start breaking this stuff down for you guys. So the first motion that was discussed was Stephan's defense team's motion to get newspapers removed from the court's lobby during Stephan Stearns' trial. Now at first, the judge didn't really understand why the defense was making this request, but the defense did make it known that there have been newspapers locally that have had Stephan Stearns' face on the front, so they just want to make sure that Stephan Stearns has his right to a fair trial, and that jurors who are walking in the lobby or through the lobby to get to the courtroom do not see Stephan's face on the front of the newspaper and are in some way swayed to think that he's guilty prior to seeing all of the evidence at court. Judge Keith Carson ultimately granted their motion. Newspapers will be removed from the court's lobby during Stephan Stearns' trial. Now, the next motion was for media to adhere to rules of the courtroom. Basically, the defense was asking that the judge implement rules so that the media cannot zoom in on the counsel's table, their computers, or Stephan Stearns' face. Now, the state did not object to this motion by the defense, but they did say that those rules should apply to everyone in the courtroom, not just media, specifically applying to those who have phones who could take them out and just start recording or zoom in. Those rules should apply to those individuals as well, and the judge agreed. That motion was granted. And the last motion was the defense's motion for Stephan Stearns to appear in court at trial in front of a jury, not restrained and able to use a regular writing utensil. The state objected to this motion. They say that Stephan Stearns could still be restrained at trial without it being physically known to the jury. Now, the state did bring up a witness to explain how Stephan Stearns could be restrained at trial and what methods would be used, and ultimately it was deemed that the best fit for Stephan Stearns was the stunt cuff, because that is what is used 99.9% of the time. The other option was a leg brace. Now, the defense spent a lot of time talking about how the leg brace, the stunt cuff, there could be issues with them, how it could be uncomfortable for Stephan Stearns at trial to sit there with something like that on. Judge Carson ultimately decided that Stephan Stearns will be restrained at trial and that he will be restrained by way of a leg brace. Now, the next thing, which is the whole pen situation, the defense was arguing that the flex pen that most defendants use in court is not something that works well and that it causes distractions in court. So therefore, Stephan should have to use a regular writing utensil or a felt tipped pen. And the judge ultimately said, okay, yeah, that's fine. He can use a felt tipped pen. Now, the state ultimately concluded this hearing by saying that some stuff that is going to be shown at trial should be closed off because of the sensitive material. There's going to be photos, there's going to be videos with both visuals and audio that the public should not be able to see, and the judge agreed that the courtroom will ultimately have to be closed during some portions of Stephan Stearns' trial. Jury selection will begin in a few days, and trial is expected to begin next week. You guys know I'm going to be covering this in depth, so make sure to follow. What are you guys thinking?